Okay. I'm live. Okay, let's see. I hope this works this time. Let's see. All right. Is it good?
Yeah, it's working now. It's working
Great. Okay.
now. We have to delete the old one though.
I did.
Okay, it's working now.
Okay. Yep. All right. Let's get this rolling. Let me get onto Instagram now. Sorry for the confusion. The microphone. It was something with that. And then it stopped working. So, all right. Let's just do this. Let's just go live. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. Let me get onto Instagram here. Okay. You stay up there. No. What's going on? Okay. It's almost 6, you guys. We're going to do this. We're going to do it. I hope it's working. All right, well, let's see. Let's see how it goes. Hello. Welcome to a Nomine Hekate. I hope that everyone got on okay. If you are on Patreon, thanks for working with me on these kinks. The first link that went through, something goofy happened with a microphone, and unbeknownst to me, I was still going. But hey, we got to join. Hey, Ron. Hey, Damien. Hey, Damien. Okay. I think we have Patreon up and running as well. So we've got Instagram tonight and Patreon. Ron, thanks so much for joining the Patreon. I saw your name come through. It made me so happy. Very exciting. I hope you are well, and your photos that you were posting looked super fun. Super fun. Hi, Teza. How are you? What's going on, everyone? Getting everything set here because we are doing our maiden voyage on Patreon Live. We all know that I'm not doing Facebook Lives right now for a Nomine Hekate or Reset and Release. It's going to just be through my Patreon now and IG, but IG for not forever. We're trying to move it all to Patreon. What a trip. I'm so glad. It looked really cool from your recap of pics. I'm glad you got out. Hopefully you were able to escape some of the LA smoke in the air, right? Kev, Ian, Nadia, how are you? Nadia, I saw that you probably, I don't know if you were on Patreon a second ago. It's fixed now. It's fixed, thankfully. But anyway, welcome everyone to a Nomine Hekate. It is our first new moon of the year, first new moon of 2025. And what a 2025 it has proven to be. My name is Mandy Wild. I am the wild medium. You probably know that. if you are on here. Um, I do these every new moon. Okay. Oh, Nadia says, yes, tried there too. Okay, cool. It's up and running now. So just in case. And now I know for the future what it was. I had the microphone connected to my phone. I guess I was like using the webcam on the Patreon, but then the microphone on my phone, it like hooked up. And then when I started to do the Instagram live, it did something wonky. But now I know, right? Now I know. Anyways, thank you all for joining me here. Hi, Stephen. Welcome, welcome. I do these every few weeks for the dark or new moon. And I also do a full moon one. So I go live every couple of weeks, and you can catch your full moon goodies here with a little meditation, or we chat all things Hekate. Where to begin? Well, let's see. I hope everyone who lives in the Los Angeles area is safe, and I hope that you are able to enjoy a little bit of fresh weather. We got some rain this week, which helped me feel a little bit better about going outside without a mask. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I was just kind of wishful thinking. But anyways, I digress. How's everyone feeling? This is a new moon in Aquarius. Happy birthday, Aquarians, by the way. A new moon in Aquarius. These Nomine Hekates are for everyone, whether you're a devotee or you're just plain Hekate curious. I want to make sure that you have a place to come and celebrate, to venerate, to do a little bit of devotion. We do a Deipnon together and a protection petition. And tonight we're going to chat all about Hekate Kledaikos, keeper of the keys. So a super special thanks to everyone who has joined my Patreon. It is been something that I've been building up to just being my primary hub. And so of course there's a lot of little wrinkles that have to be ironed out. Charity, welcome. I thought you had to work. I'm so happy you're here. But I want to just give a little shout out to some of the new members: Janae, Rue, Jasmine, Nick, Ron, Liz, Elizabeth, Miss Jamie, Teza, am I saying your name correctly? Nadia, Mickey, Ashley, Jamie, Krista, Jill, Candace, Tyler, Carl, Sue, and Charity. Thank you so much for joining this month. I do a little shout out for every live of the new members. Jess, thanks for joining. I'm going to let you know if you are on the Patreon. I'm going to stay on a little bit later on that one if anyone has questions. And you can throw them in the comment section, and hopefully I'll be able to see them. We'll get to experiment with that as well. But before, let's call in the corners. All right. So a lot of you know this already, and you can join in, or you can just kind of hold some space and be here with it. Charity says, I'm here. I'm sneaking in from work. Sneaky. I love it. All right. I call to the east, where the air takes flight, filling our lungs with breath pure of life. I call to the south, where the fire burns bright, protecting and guiding like torches in the night. I call to the west, where the water flows might, feeding and nourishing our gift of inner sight. I call to the north, where the earth holds tight, grounding us here under the moon's soft light. I call to spirit in quiet introspection, a journey within, seeking soul's connection. Well, I'm happy to share this evening with you all. Uh, Traditionally, the new moon, right, or Numenia, which is in ancient Greek, was a sacred time of renewal. It was a fresh beginning marked by offerings, by devotion. Um, Unlike the dark moon, which was associated also with Hekate and the restless dead, typically when the Deipnon would be left at a crossroads. Numenia brings about a promise, a new promise. It is celebrated as the very first visible silver of the moon starts to return, right? Households would like clean their altars, uh, offer libation, offer food, incense, welcome in the divine for their favor and for a new cycle. And usually on the new moon, we would do a petition to Hekate. So for these Nomine Hekates, I either hold them on the dark moon or the new moon. They're usually just a couple of days apart or the day before. But we do all of it kind of together. So we can do this all as one. But what I wanted to talk about today was Keeper of the Keys, Kledaikos. For those who are new, we take an epithet of Hekate or an aspect. It's an adjective, right, of our goddess Hekate, and we kind of flesh it out just so we get a little bit more clearer understanding of what that means, what it means to work with Kledaikos or whatever epithet we're talking about. Kledaikos offers us a way to reclaim power, to set boundaries, to find clarity in maybe uncertain times. The key, right? Just the key in general is a very simple tool. We will use a key to maybe get into a place, right, that has been locked, or maybe we will lock something ourselves out, or excuse me, lock other people out. We can use it as boundaries. We have a key to hold to move through life without asking for permission. I like to say this because it's something that holds very true, especially in the occult world with information, but just in general. Hekate is said to hold the keys, right? But it is us that actually holds the key, right? Though she holds the keys, she is not a gatekeeper. And gatekeeping is completely antithetical of Kledaikos to begin with. She stands there as a guide, right? And yes, she's holding the keys, but we have the power and we have the will to take the key and use it as we want or use it as we see fit or needed. I talk about I like to talk about where maybe like your first interaction with a key was maybe as a young child, being handed one, and maybe you were a latchkey kid. I was, or maybe you knew of one. Um, there was a great independence in holding a key, right? Like fumbling to your door, fumbling the doorknob, trying to get it open. It was thrilling, it's exciting, but it's also a little nerve-wracking because you are, as a child, given this responsibility of whatever happens behind that door until your supervision gets home, you're responsible. And the same thing kind of happens as we get older and older, right? Keys tend to change. They're no longer for doors, but they're for choices and things like education or opportunities that start to shape the course of our lives. These are keys. Some keys maybe are handed to us really easily, and some keys we have to fight for. Some doors swing open really quickly, and others will remain bolted no matter how many times we knock. But Keys do more than grant an entry to a place. They also reveal who is locked out. We're all very aware of society, and it's full of locks, right? But it's like full of locks on like knowledge, locks on power, locks on our bodies, locks on our voices. We need to ask. There's a responsibility when we have a key, this metaphorical key. We need to ask if there are barriers, who put the barriers there? It forces us to ask who decides to allow us in, who decides to allow us to cross the threshold, right? These keys allow us to have access to the other side. Now, all this said, not every door should be open. We know that doors must be closed and they must be locked, and some of them must be locked forever, and they need to be left behind. I can think of a million situations where I've had to lock doors and continue to have to lock doors so that I am reminded that I no longer need to go through that door, and I don't want others to go through that door. So having a key, working with kledaikos, is great responsibility. So something to know, you and kledaikos are one, right? Because we and Hekate are one. It is about becoming one. It is understanding that kledaikos is not one directional, right? There is this idea of being able to kind of go back and forth between thresholds. Nadine, thank you so much for joining. But I want to, let's see, have a little thing we'll be reading here shortly, but I want to make sure everyone, it's going to be a little, can you guys see this? We're going to do this in the air. This is like Hekate's crossed keys. I've got them on my arm there. Boop. It's like Hekate's crossed keys. We're going to draw this in the air when we get to our petition. So we'll do like a little circle, boop, and another circle. We'll do that in the air. So I'm just kind of showing you right now, and I'll show it to you a little bit later as well, so you can get. Eclectic Artist, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. All right. Where did my notes go? All right. Now, also something with keys, kledaikos reminds us that kledaikos, working with Hekate kledaikos, reminds us that we decide what we allow in our minds, right? Because this isn't just hey, Melanie, welcome, friend. I know Melanie is joining us from a very long ways away. Canada. But these keys don't just open like doors and these other metaphorical doors that I was talking about, but it has to do with what boundaries we set, finding clarity in uncertain times. If and when you and your community might feel exhausted, which I know my community right now feels extremely exhausted, my spiritual community and my physical community, right? Sometimes we can feel disillusioned or maybe overwhelmed. We have to watch for those keys that come to us as an illusion, right? Because a lot of times we are offered keys that are an illusion. And so it's up to us to help to be able to discern whether that is the case or not. When to open right doors. When we're standing at a crossroads, and yeah, I feel you extremely. Oh my goodness, New Zealand. Whoa, I think you're the furthest that we've had on here. Thank you for joining, Nadine. Oh my gosh. That's wonderful. Love to you. Love to you. Love to all of you. But Kleidakos reminds us that when we are at the crossroads and we are waiting in that liminal space for an opportunity that we've been working toward, we're waiting for us to kind of trust ourselves to take that step into that door, to unlock the door ourselves. We have to know when it's right, because we also don't want to enter someplace before that we're ready, right? Melanie says that's way farther than me. We want to make sure we don't enter something prematurely. So there's a magic, right? There's this special place, that sort of vestibule, that threshold that we kind of hang in, that liminal space, right? So being mindful as to when it is that you take the step through that door. A little simple practice you can do, and I do this quite often. I have a whole thing of keys that I keep on my altar for Hekate. I always just put like any keys that I find. And it doesn't have to be a cool little skeleton key. I've got a ton of those, but like a house key or a car key or whatever it is. Look at this little teeny weeny number. I keep keys to places keys that unlocked doors that really, really resonated with me. Maybe it was an old apartment or something like that. I like to keep it to remind myself that those were definitely doors that were supposed to be open. And I do a little ritual of getting rid of the keys of doors that I know were not supposed to be open. But a practice of just kind of sitting and holding something tangible like a key, again, it can just be like a house key, and feeling the metal in your hands, feeling the weight in your hands, and meditating on something like that. Rob got us Kinder eggs. Not sure if you know what they are, but inside mine was a little plastic key. Oh, fun. Fun. So yeah, you can just like sit and kind of hold the key and ask Kleidakos to guide you in opening the right paths, opening the right doors. And you can also ask her to close the doors that are no longer serving you, right? Hey, Krista, thanks for joining. Also, a little reminder is sometimes if I'm like maybe looking for an apartment or looking for like a new job, I might carry a key that opened an apartment that I really loved, or maybe you had a job that you had a key to and maybe you didn't have to return the key. I don't know. But if you've still got like a key to that and you're like, I really love this job and I have this key reminds me of that job, you can hold it, carry it with you in your pocket, something super simple that you could go with. All right. Now, the Deipnon that we're doing tonight, for those who are on this call, I just have a very like simple plate of dates, olives. I've got some thyme and I've got some nuts. I always have garlic out and I always have olive oil out for her. But I just kind of keep like just so you can just have like anything. Like, so Deipnon, this is a collective Deipnon. My Deipnon is your Deipnon. If you want to add anything to it, feel free. Like if you've got an egg, we don't have eggs in our house because we're vegan. So we don't have eggs. If you've got an egg, throw an egg up and be like, hey, I've got an egg for you, or whatever, or nothing. It's okay, because my Deipnon is your Deipnon. And when we do our protection petition, we do that together as a warm community. Now, when I want to talk just a little bit before we go into the Deipnon, I get asked a lot how I feel the different aspects of Hekate when I am doing any sort of devotional work, or if I'm just going about my day to day. Well, so when it's been a lot the last couple of weeks, Thank you, Melanie. Melanie says she's going to put some eggs out straight away. Thank you. Yay, we have eggs to our Deipnon as well now. When I'm going about my day to day, and especially like these last couple of weeks, my nervous system has been a little frayed, and I'm sure some of yours has too. But there's been things that have come up that has made me feel the things, right? Made me feel the things. And maybe that is like, okay, I'm now being locked out of this, or maybe this is being taken away from me and I don't have access into that realm anymore. And maybe it's evoking some sort of emotion. That emotion from that feeling is what we're talking about. That is the epithet. That is kledaikos. When you get angry that you didn't get the job, that maybe someone else did, and you were totally qualified for it. That feeling is kledaikos. Maybe you did get the job and you're like, I worked so hard at this and I got it. Oh my God. And there's this disbelief, but also like, I did it. And you're so like, that is kledaikos. When you get handed something and it just happens like that, like with ease, that is kledaikos. Or when you have to even fight for it. Maybe it is a position, or again, maybe it's the house or the apartment or the car or whatever, the raise, whatever it is. And it's that space of like, is it going to happen? And it happening. And it's that swelling of emotion, whatever that emotion is kledaikos, right? So that's something to kind of think on when you're sitting at your altar holding your key, or if you don't have time to hang out at your altar, because we all have lives, right? And some of the times these lives are very, very busy. Maybe just carry, like I said, grab a key, stick it in your pocket, and when you have this emotion coming up and you're like, wait, why didn't they call my name first? Or why didn't I get the last cookie at the office, whatever it was? You can just kind of feel your key. Just start to recognize those granule emotions kind of happening, like, oh, I feel a little twinge. All right. And as I keep this key in my pocket, I'll put it back. There's so many keys. I collect keys. If anyone wants to know what to randomly give me on the street, it's a key. I find them on the street all the time. Hail Hekate. That's kledaikos too, right? Like you're on the street and you're just kind of going for a walk or whatever, and you're thinking about like, oh, like what are my next moves with this or that? And you look down and you see a key and you're like, oh my God, there you go. Peter, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. All right. So we're going to do our little Deipnon. We're just going to talk about that for a second here. This communal Deipnon, my Deipnon that I made here is our Deipnon. Again, typically we would do that under the dark moon, and we would leave it at a crossroads. And this would be for our goddess Hekate, to appease Hekate, right? And we're going to do a little petition with a slight visualization. Let's do a little visualization moving into this. If you've got your Deipnon, awesome. You don't have to. But let's get comfortable and kind of close our eyes. We're just going to imagine ourselves at a crossroads. We're just going to go ahead and put ourselves there. We're not going to walk up to it today. We are there. We are at where a path starts to fork. Skate Oddity, thank you for joining. I'm just doing a little visualization here. We're going to be at the crossroads. The path is forked. And I want you to take your Deipnon And I want you to just set it down at the center of the crossroads here. And as you set it down, I want you to visualize the rest of us on this call adding our Deipnons as well. I want you to see this supper starting to grow. I want you to see it start to become very bountiful. And as that's growing, I want you to visualize a door on the left side and a door on the right side, right in the middle of this path that's forked. And I want you to notice on either side of the door, there is a ring of keys. Now there's a little bit of anticipation, a little bit of excitement, because there's two doors here that you could choose to go through. I want you to recognize what this feeling is. I just want you to sit with it for a minute. I want you to feel it. Maybe it's nervousness, or maybe it's excitement. Maybe it's dread. Who knows? Like, what do these doors make you feel like? And I just want you to know that both sets of those keys are within reach. And you, at all times, have the ability of picking up any one of those keys and trying them out. What does that make you feel like? Feel all of these emotions. All right. This is Kladikos. All of those emotions. It's complex. It's not one, two, or the other, right? It kind of changes. This is a little bit of Kladikos. Now, we're not going to open the doors right now because I want you to take time with that. Because we all have new doors in our lives that are constantly presenting themselves to us. And we also have doors that are constantly needing to be shut. But what we're going to do now is I want you to put your gaze back at the Deipnon, and I want you to see how bountiful it has become. And we are going to do a petition to Hekate, Kladikos, for protection. And you remember the sigil? We're just going to carve, when I say sigil, toward the end of this petition, we're going to draw that in the air. All right. Hekate Kladikos, keeper of the keys, guardian of the threshold. Under this new moon, we stand before the unseen, where silence speaks and shadows stretch long. With your keys in hand, you lock the doors that must remain closed and open only the ones that serve our soul's path. Hekate, shield us from ill intent, from any unseen hands that seek to twist our fate. Let no false words take root in our minds, no hidden malice find passage in our spirit. May your torches burn bright at every crossroad we stand upon, revealing what is true and dispelling what is hollow. I name my fears, and you cast them into the void. I name my strength, and you place the key in my hands. It is by your name, Nomine Hekate, that we walk forward, unseen by those who would harm us, untouched by those that do not belong by us. Hekate Klarekos, seal our path with your sigil. Right here. As we move through the night, guarded and unbound, so it is spoken, so it is locked, so it is done. In nomine Hekate. How do you feel? Do you feel like you have a little bit more of a grasp of Klareikos and could call upon her when you start to feel some of those things that we were talking about? Synexia, thank you for joining. I hope I didn't butcher your name. How do you feel about the doors that you saw at the crossroads? Are they doors that you want to open? Were you drawn to one door over the other? What do you think that door meant? Or what do you think that door led to? Part of choosing a door is being ready to face whatever is behind the door. And sometimes it's not something that we want to be around at all. Sometimes it's just something we want to be around for a little bit, right? But we have that choice. We all have the choice. We have the keys. They are in our grasp at all times. Because we are Hekate. You are Hekate. We are Klarekos. So is this bowl of keys. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your evening. Thank you, Melanie. She says, those are great questions to reflect upon. Working with Hekate's epithets are like that, right? Like learning, like what the basic use of a key is, like what it actually is. You're so welcome, Nadine. Thank you. Thank you for joining. But also knowing what it means metaphorically, right? And yes, like autonomy, independency, power, all of these things. I love you too, Charity. Hail Hekate. Yay. But it's also knowing, again, that keys are education, right? Holding the key is a great responsibility. Having a key is maybe we open a door and maybe we're holding it open for others as well to join, right? Hi, Sport Queen. You are so loved too, Melanie. Thank you. Aw. Love it, love it. All right. I'm going to jump off of Instagram. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see things on the Patreon. Again, this was my main voyage. And for all of you who started the other live stream on Patreon and then it disappeared, sorry, it's on there now. I know for the future. So next dia. I love it. Just got done with my ritual rites, offering Hekate and her hordes. Figured I'd jump on and see you real quick. Oh, thank you. I hope all of your rituals go well. We are in a brand new month. May you feel replenished. I hope that you are getting some rest. I always say hydrate, even when it is not a full moon, because any sort of time that we are honoring a lunar type goddess or working with lunar energies, whether it is a dark moon, a new moon, or a full moon, we want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves hydration wise for sure. But I'm going to stay on the Patreon for a bit, see if anyone's got any questions. Instagram. See you soon. All right. Now then, let's see what we've got going on here. If there's any questions. Oh, Miss Jamie, thank you. I'm so glad you're on there. And Tyler. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Yay. If you still are on, I can see if you have comments on Patreon. So if anyone has any questions, I'm super happy to answer them. Tyler says he's so excited for this first time being able to join. This is our first time on Patreon. So I'm excited that you joined too and that you found the right one because the first one was not. Oh. Let's see. Does anyone have anything over here? Why don't wait a few more minutes for that? And just so you guys know, over here, I'm going to be releasing a bit of my book, my upcoming book, gradually, little snippets on my Patreon. It'll be under the blogs, and so members will get a chance to read some of that. So that's kind of exciting. Okay. That might be all we have. And yeah. Well, why don't we call it a night? Thank you so much for joining. I will see you in 2 weeks for reset and release.